man, like 3,000 people, maybe it's bigger, but even for you, even if it's 1,000, 2,000 people, if it's the people in your right target market, it's going to make you look like a superstar in comparison to everyone else that's not doing that. But let me break down why social media doesn't work for a lot of people out there. So I don't know if you're anything like me, but I love it when it makes me feel really good when people like and comment on my posts. And sometimes it can be a little discouraging if I spend a lot of time on a post, or I think something's really cool and no one likes or comments on it or shares, or a very small number of people are do. So the reason why that is happening is the people that are following you are not seeing enough value in what you posted. You can think it's the greatest thing in the world, but if they don't think it's something valuable that they go to social media for, then they're just not going to like it, or they're not going to comment on it, they're not going to engage on it. It's not the end of the world, because you can always start over, and 5 minutes later, an hour later, you can put, you can find something else that you think might be more valuable to them, and you can post it. So a lot of business owners, or a lot of people that are trying to establish a social media presence, they will start posting a whole bunch of stuff about, hey, this is what I'm selling. Like, I got this course coming out or whatever. But like, if all you're posting about is your course coming out, and you haven't demonstrated that you're an expert, if you haven't given them free tools that are going to help give value to help them achieve the outcome that they want to achieve, or that's going to make their life better, or that's going to make their business better, or their career better, then they're going to be like, well, I'm going to pass on the course, and they're not going to like your posts. Or same thing, hey, it's great to post when someone writes a review about you online and says, oh, working with Kayla was awesome. But if all of Kayla's social media posts are just talking about how working with her is awesome, and she doesn't do any other stuff, people are going to be like, oh, this is just a commercial. It's not adding any value to me. Now, instead, if you think, all right, well, what do I want to get known for? Or what are people potentially paying me for? And then if I create content that makes them move towards that, or gives them hints, or gets them thinking in a different way, then that's going to make them want to like your social media post more, engage with them, tell their friends and family to follow you, and stuff like that. So always know that, hey, if you make a mistake and your business or your career isn't resonating with someone, you can always take a step back and say, all right, well, I thought I was adding value, but how can I add even more value? Another piece that is going to help you on the concept of adding value is figuring out what your ideal target market is. So good news for those of you that are employed. For those of you that are employed, your target audience, and you're simply trying to get a raise, or you're trying to get a promotion, well, your target audience is a little easier. Your target audience is your boss, and your additional target audience is your boss's boss. And so you want to think about not just what you on a day-to-day basis do, but you want to be thinking about, well, what's my boss working on all the time? Like, what's my boss stressed out about? Or what's my boss going to make me happiest? And it might actually be to your advantage. Like, you still got to do your job well, but it might actually be to your advantage to, spend an extra 30 minutes a week, or spend an extra hour a week on a project that's going to make your boss happier, or that's going to make your boss's life easier. And they're going to be like, wow, she or he is like head and shoulders above everyone else. They're making my life easier, or they're making the business more money, or they're helping decrease costs. And so when the promotions come around, or the opportunity to give more money around, it's going to make an easier decision. If you go and you ask for a raise, if you've been doing a great job, there's a small percentage chance you might get it. And you want to be able to point back to, hey, over the past 6 months, here's some of the new stuff that I've been doing for you. It's been having this impact on the business. It's been having this impact on you. And they're going to be like, oh yeah, like that's not something that I'm getting from other people that are getting paid the same thing. Or maybe that's stuff they're not even getting from people that are getting paid more than you. And that's a great opportunity, because now they're going to be like, oh, she's doing more than Susan. He's doing more than Susan. And Susan's making 3,000 more. I got to try to find a way to give them a $3,500 a year raise. So that stuff will start to happen if you're adding value that the other person wants. And again, the mistake we often make is we guess what the other person wants, and sometimes we're wrong. So now let's switch to, hey, you're thinking about starting a business, or you have a business and you're trying to make it grow. We talked about the concept of a target audience. Now, a lot of times when people are first getting into businesses, or they're like hitting a plateau in terms of where their business is and where their business needs to grow, a lot of times people are like, well, anybody can buy my stuff. Like, my target audience is everybody. And even I make this mistake sometimes. Oh, well, everybody wants to travel, so I can, sell them travel services, or everyone, everyone needs to invest, so, they can do financial, I can sell them financial services. But here's the thing, like, if you know this secret, this career success secret and this business success secret, how can I add even more value? If you target the people that value your stuff the most, it's going to be an easier sell. It's going to be an easier sell for you. And the easier the sell, the more money you're going to make. So I love all the talk about, making a difference in the world. That is important to me. May or may not be important to all of you, but, Kayla attracts pretty awesome people that I think have good hearts. And so, so even if, even if you're primarily motivated by doing good in the world, or helping out your family or whatever, well, money helps make that easier. And so thinking about how can we add value so that we can make money, so we can achieve our personal goals, whether they be making our lives better for ourselves, our family, our communities, whatever your goal is for you, thinking about this and thinking about how that adding value is going to allow you to grow your business, or is going to allow you to get that salary increase, is really going to help you tremendously. So, I'm going to give a little bit of a unusual example. So I like tacos. Anybody else like tacos? I like tacos. So yeah, that's all right. All right, I chose the right example. So, so the concept, a lot of restaurants are struggling right now. And so the restaurant that finds a way to demonstrate the most value, not just the most delicious food, not just the cheapest food, but the most value for their target audience, is going to be more successful. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do that. People value different things. Some people value speed and convenience. And so one of the restaurants in my neighborhood that's doing much better than the others, a lot of the restaurants in my neighborhood have gone out of business. Well, they said, well, people are worried about this COVID thing. They don't want to stick around very long or whatever. And so they created new things on the menu called grab and goes, which were like their top 3 favorite things on the menu. They lowered the price, and they can make more of the food because it's a special. They know more people are going to order it, and they can just, within 5 minutes of someone ordering, sometimes faster, they can give the person their order. So for people that value convenience or speed, that restaurant is really catering it to it. And so they're adding more value than some other restaurants out there. But to get back to the taco example, so there are a lot of taco places out there. A lot of them are good. So it's not just good enough to be good. So, so this taco place, kind of don't want to ruin the surprise, but I guess I got to go to it eventually. So this taco place is called Lucha Libre Tacos. Lucha Libre Tacos. So for those of you that don't speak Spanish, Lucha Libre is basically the Spanish word for professional wrestling. So this San Diego restaurant the San Diego restaurant in San Diego, of course, they said, well, all right, well, to make us different, we're going to cater to people that like professional wrestling. So you would think, all right, well, that's going to eliminate their market. And, they're not going to be very successful if they only sell to people that like professional wrestling. But to people that like professional wrestling, people walk into the restaurant and there are all these photographs, autographed photographs of famous professional wrestlers. And so it's very cool. It's very nostalgic. People that enjoy talking about professional wrestling have something to talk about with their friends. Now, even if you don't care about professional wrestling, they are providing value. And part of the value is fun. Part of the value is entertainment. So wouldn't you, if you could go and get a taco or you could get a burrito at the same or a slightly higher price and have something that brings you joy, it's going to pay off for you. It's going to pay off for you. Well, funny thing happened. Well, the people that love professional wrestling, like all of them go there frequently. Some people get, tacos multiple times a week, especially in San Diego. And even for people that don't like the professional wrestling, it's so cool and so unusual. I don't know if you've ever seen a professional wrestling show, but they have the huge championship gold and silver belts around. And if you're a VIP or a regular, or, you're willing to reserve a booth, you can, upgrade and have this special booth where you're surrounded by everything. And so it's this top tier experience that attracts people. So you would think it's all right, but added costs or expenses. Well, they are now at 4 different locations. So a lot of businesses are struggling. And my family used to be in the restaurant business, and they eventually got out of it because they struggled. Because my father didn't understand the concept of it's not good enough just to have amazing food. How can I add even more value to my clients? How can I add even more value to people coming in? So not only so they keep coming back or they want to buy stuff, but they tell other people about it. So really, really cool stuff. So I'm going to shift to a couple other things that support. And Kayla, I'm going to trust you to give me a warning sign or whatever, because I get so excited talking to y'all that sometimes I get a little carried away and talk more than my time. So feel free to give me a warning and I'll wrap up. But so I want to talk about the concept of want versus need. Want versus need. And if you haven't picked up on this yet, anytime I'm slowing down and repeating something, it's usually because it's pretty important where you want to consider writing it down. So want versus need. So a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, well, people are struggling and they need my product, or people are in pain and they need my product. Well, people don't always value what they need. People don't always value what they need. A lot of times they value what they want more. Not always, but significantly more. Now, ideally, if you can get in a business where you're giving something that someone needs and that they want it badly, that's the ideal. But don't assume just because you have something cool or a need that a market is going to create itself. Because if people don't realize they have that need, or they don't want it badly enough, then it's not talking to that adding value that we're talking about. So really think about what they want the most. So I'll give you an example in my business. So I get, I have a variety of different things that I coach people on in their careers and their business. But one of my most popular things that I do is around job search and helping people land jobs, helping people land better jobs, make more money at their jobs, do career switches or whatever. And so I know that people really need to learn the skill networking. If I just went out there if I just went out there and advertised networking workshops, like hardly any people would buy from me because a lot of people don't want networking. They might need networking. Networking might make them better at their business. So instead, what I need to say is, all right, well, they might need networking, but what do they really want? Well, they want a better job, or they want a job where they're going to be excited to jump out of bed in the morning, or they want a job where they're going to be making $5,000-7,000 more a year, or $20,000 more a year, so that they can provide for their family. So when I market, or when I create something, or when I write a social media post, I try to focus as much as possible on what do they want, instead of just pushing those networking stuff on them that they don't even realize they need yet. So difference between want and need. So a different way of looking at how to add value. So attention spans are short. Some of you guys might have zoned out on me. Like, I think I'm interesting, but you get I might not be providing enough value for you, and you might have zoned out. Like, maybe you have a different need or whatnot. So a big mistake that people make is not realizing that people have short attention spans. Scary, scary fact. So the scary fact is that the average adult attention span in North America is 8 seconds long. 8 seconds long. The attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds. Man, like, we got less of an attention span than a goldfish. That's crazy. But here's the deal. It's the reality. I'm not trying to, poo-poo people for having short attention spans. I do. I like my short videos and stuff. But now that we know people have short attention spans, we realize we need to tell them what the value we're providing in the first 8 to 15 seconds. Otherwise, they're going to stop paying attention, and they're going to flip to the next video, or they're going to pick up their phone, or they're going to, turn to a friend of theirs. So there are some people teaching sales techniques or business techniques out there where they're like, well, just send them a message and say, hey, how you doing? Send them a DM and ask them how they're doing. Well, this goes for dating life, gentlemen, as well. Hey, how you doing? Well, if they don't have a relationship with you, or you haven't established value with them, you're actually wasting their time. So if it's early on in the business relationship, or it's early on in the career, say, hey, the reason why I want to reach out to you is because I'm going to help make your life better through XYZ. Or I want to explore how I can make your business grow. And if you can be a little bit more specific than that, it's going to help. So the thing I am going to end on today is, and this is something I haven't said out loud, but I've been hinting at it the whole time, is the key to finding out the value that the other person wants that you're going to provide is, what is the outcome or outcomes? I would write this one down. This is worth the price of admission alone. What is the outcome or outcomes that your audience wants to achieve? What is the outcome or outcomes that your audience wants to achieve? Depends on your business. So it might be in their life. It might be in spending their entertainment dollars. It might be in their love life. If you think about these concepts, it's going to transform your life and business. I hope you master these. I do have a free gift for all y'all. So 2 free gifts, actually. So the first one is at a website called freecareergift.com. freecareergift.com. So if you are still trying to figure out like you're figuring out what your destiny is that you're going to dominate, because all of you are going to dominate your destiny after this week. If you're still figuring out what that destiny or what that next career step or what that next business looks like for you, then freecareergift.com is going to give you a free tool, which my clients used to pay a couple $100s for. You get it for free, and it's going to help you think about what's important to you and what you might want to build your business or what you might want to build your career around. Now, if that doesn't speak to you, then another option, and you're welcome to do both, is to join my free Facebook group. My free Facebook group is called Career Success Secrets. Career Success Secrets. Success has 2 C's and 2 S's. So that's a lot of S's in there. So those are my free gifts to you. Please stay in touch. You guys seem awesome. And I'm curious to see what else Kayla has for us today.
Awesome, Mike. That was so good. I believe it touched a lot of pain points for me in business, being a beginner. And I know some other people are here in business, but also for our careers as well. That was totally good. That was so good. Thank you so much. So you guys, let's just take a look really quick before we introduce our next speaker. Let's take a look at our sponsors and what they have to say. Again, if you're still here, you've probably seen it already, but hey, the science is the science, the strategy is the strategy, and we have to know that these people really do care about pouring into us as well. So let's watch really quick. Oh, let me switch cameras. I got a lot going on, you guys, because the live stream did not work via Facebook. So on one hand, I have a phone, and the other, I have the laptop. But let's do this thing.
Hi, this is your girl Couture, owner of My Calling Therapy Services. I have been a massage therapist for over 12 years, and I'm very, very ecstatic to be one of the sponsors for MRU, Mindset, Reset, and Upgrade by Miss Kayla Johnson. So I am giving away 2 gifts. Yes. 2 gifts. One is a complimentary 30-minute massage of the upper body, consists with hot stone, aromatherapy, and hot towel treatment. Also, the second gift is $20 gift certificate towards any services that is a value of $70. So can't beat that, huh? So I'm very, very thrilled and ecstatic to be a sponsor. You don't want to miss this phenomenal event by Miss Kayla Johnson. And hope to see you all on day 2. All right? Hope to see you all. And who's going to win these gifts? Who is going to win these gifts? So see you there. I'm out.
Good day, everyone. This is Adrian Davis with Crown Davis Memberships and Momentum University. I am so excited to be a major sponsor for the Mindset, Reset, and Upgrade Conference because I am a big proponent of self-care. I understand with working with thousands of individuals across the United States and across the world, how important it is to take care of yourself. You can only affect the world if you're the best version of yourself. So I want you to get the most out of this conference. And as an added benefit, I'd like to a special pricing for Unbridled Power. Just the next session that we're going to do, which will change your life. So if you want to make more money than you ever had, accelerate your career quicker than you ever had, or just have more freedom, I invite you to join me for the next session of Unbridled Power. It's somewhere on this link. Take advantage of it because you won't regret it. And one more thing before I let you go. Congratulations on investing in yourself and have an amazing time.
Awesome sauce. Don't forget, you all, we have some amazing gifts for our attendees. We have some amazing gifts for you all. We have It's Only Natural with her body butters and body oils. And you all know I've already introduced 2 gift cards for you all. One is a Shell gift card and one is a DoorDash gift card. So y'all let's just stay excited. Let's stay pumped. Stay pumped, stay pumped, stay pumped. All right. Let me get our next speaker on here because you guys really want to hear from Mr. Ryan Lee. Ryan came from the corporate world, followed all of the traditional and conventional wisdom of go to school, get a job, and put as much money in the stock market as possible. Like so many others, he learned that the traditional path of retirement would never make him free, and he started studying and researching to find out how to become financially free in 10 years or less. Along the way, he learned that 97% of what is taught in traditional finance is dangerous, misleading, or outright wrong. And the path to financial freedom isn't doing what everyone else is doing better. It is doing the exact opposite. Ryan built Cashflow tactics to empower people financially to rise up, take control of their financial plan so that they can live free. Without further ado, I welcome our special guest, Mr. Ryan Lee from Cashflow Tactics.
What is up, guys? How's everyone doing today? It's such a pleasure, such an honor to be here with everyone. I am honored. I'm excited to be here. In fact, it's really an opportunity for me to share something that's near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to take just a quick moment, and I put together a presentation that I gave on a cruise earlier this year before all the craziness in the world started and cruises were still a thing. But I was able to share a presentation inside of a room of about 100 entrepreneurs. I don't know if anyone in here is familiar with the ClickFunnels world or Russell Brunson or anyone in that neighborhood. But I was on that cruise and I was able to share with about 100 entrepreneurs a strategy that's been, really helped me and helped all of the people that we work with inside of our community. Is there any way I can share my screen to share this presentation?
Yeah, just let me give you some control.
Oh, appreciate it. And I'll make this, I'm not sure if it's okay to be open and interactive. I'm totally fine to answer questions as we go. Because as was shared, what we do is not traditional at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dive right in and I'm going to share with you what we call the 3 expert secrets to empowering people with money. Because at the end of the day, that's really all money is. It's a tool to help you build and live a life that you love. And we call that a purpose-driven life here at Cashflow Tactics. But, at the end of the day, our primary objective in what we do with people is we help them. This is a clip. I don't know if it's actually going to work.
I can't end up like that. I have got to make money and save it. And I have to do that thing that rich people do where they turn money into more money. Can you teach me how to do that?
With my eyes closed.
All right. So back in the day when we were learning how to put this strategy together, we had, Russell Brunson is kind of a mentor of ours trying to help us figure out how to take this message online. And I'll never forget as we went up to his office, I don't know, every 6 months and kind of shared what we were doing, his eyes would roll back into the back of his head. I mean, he just, talking about money was really hard for him to pay attention to. And it wasn't until we were able to nail everything down in a cohesive way. And really at the end of the day, I don't know if you heard what that clip was, but this is Liz Lemon saying she's struggling with money and she just wants to learn how to do that thing that rich people do, turn money into more money. So that's basically what this presentation is going to be about, is empowering you guys with principles and tools to turn money into more money. This is my office. This is behind where I live. I'm actually out here in Utah, and all the time we do our board meetings. These are the 3 founders of what we do, board meetings up in the mountains. But at the end of the day, what drives us here at Cashflow Tactics is one thing. Back when we first started putting this together, we took a personality profile, and you would think that a financial strategy guy would be inspired by economics and math and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what inspires me. And what really inspires me is freedom. And, our company is built on one fundamental premise. No one will ever care more about the success of your financial plan than you. And when you're empowered with both principles and tactics to truly rise up, that's the only thing that's separating you from where you want to be to living free. This is my why. This is my family behind it. And I believe that everything with the right perspective, that will help you determine the action that you're going to take. So number 1, what I'm going to talk about is you need a goal. Okay, and I think everyone, I mean, you guys are all on this webinar tonight, wherever you're at in the world, you're here because you care about the life that you have. You care about improving that life. And what holds so many people back inside of their life, I would say, is the conversation of money. I don't know if you've ever felt held back by money, but I sure have. I felt that over and over and over again in my life. And so number one, we need a goal to understand how to use money to build and live a life that we love. You know, we've done thousands of game plans inside of our community, Cashflow Tactics, and I like to ask people what money is. And I tell you what, I've heard just about every answer under the sun of what that could be. You know, I've heard people tell me, hey, it's a means of exchange. You know, you take your money to a store and you're able to buy something. It's a store of value. You can save it and hopefully take it out of your savings account at some point and buy something with it in the future. It's paper, it's power, it's the root of all evil. You know, all of these things might be partially true. You know, yes, it's power, but I've seen just as many people with money use it in a disempowering way, right? I mean, it's the lottery syndrome, or it's not really the root of all evil. It just amplifies the person that you are. But what one fundamental truth that I've seen 100% all of the time with money is something that time is traded for, right? It's something that we exchange our time for. And if we're not careful, we fall into a dangerous trap. And this is the trap that I fell into. I kind of messed around in life for quite some time. And I remember when I finally got my life back on track, I was at the age of 23 and I felt really behind, you know, in my life. You know, I hadn't even graduated high school at the time. And without any thinking, right, proactive thinking, like all the social conditioning just kicked into my life, right? You go to school, and once you go to school, you check that off, you get a job. If you don't check that, once you get a job, you're supposed to put all your money in a 401k. And it was this kind of elusive dream of one day, right? One day I'll have enough money. One day I'll be able to retire. One day I'll be happy. But I don't know about you guys. For me, that day never really came. In fact, for me, the more I climbed the corporate ladder, the more ultimately I was trading with myself. I remember, you know, my wife and I, we graduated college together, and then I jumped into the corporate rat race, and I moved 7 times in the first 5 years of my career, right? 7 times. I mean, every time there was an opportunity, or every time there was a promotion, or even sometimes they weren't even promotions. They were just, hey, this is what's required. You have to go take over another territory. I moved over and over, from California to Florida to Texas and everything in between. And what I ultimately found is, as I was climbing the corporate ladder, I started to make trade-offs, right? I mean, every promotion came with strings. It came with responsibilities. Yeah, it came with a little bit more money. But what I ultimately found is 5 years into my career, I was really losing everything I cared about. Now, up until that point, I was putting 80% of my money in traditional financial vehicles, right? I was putting my money in 401ks, the stock market, mutual funds, all of that. And in 2008, I learned the lesson that a lot of people learn, but I learned the lesson the hard way. I lost almost 80% of what I had saved up to that point. And worse than that, on the tail end of losing all of that money inside of my 401k, this is my oldest son, who at the time was 4. I'll never forget the day I was living up in Indianapolis, and my wife and family stayed back in Texas because they were tired of moving. And I was just red-eye traveling back and forth. And I got a call from my wife. And she told me on the other line that my oldest son, who we knew was having a heart problem we were hoping he would grow out of, was going to need an emergency open heart surgery. And at that moment, like I questioned everything in my life. I questioned everything I was doing, because I wasn't even there when my family needed me the most. And at that point, I decided to go on a crusade for myself to figure out how to become financially free. The first thing I want to ask you guys is, what is the purpose of all savings or investing? Why the heck do we take our money out? And what is it that we're trying to accomplish? And, you know, as we talked about earlier, that one thing is we're trying to own and control our time. One day we want to have enough capital in a way that we can buy our time back. Would you guys agree with that? So for me, the first thing that we have to expose, and this is kind of what sets us apart from most traditional financial advice. And, you know, like I said, I learned a lot of this stuff the hard way. I believe that most of us are fighting a problem against gravity, right? We can't see gravity. We can't touch it. But if we, you know, go up to the edge of a cliff and we take a step off, we're going to learn the lesson the hard way, that gravity exists, and gravity has a force that will control the outcome of what we're doing. I believe that 97% of traditional financial advice is dangerous, misleading, or outright wrong. And the reason I believe that is our mission at Cashflow Tactics is to empower people to become financially free in 10 years or less. And it is almost mathematically impossible to do that using stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And I don't know how many of you have ever tried doing that. I know I tried quite a bit doing that in the beginning. And so our goal is to not help you do what everyone else is doing better. Our goal is to help you do the exact opposite. And this is where most people find themselves. This is where I found myself, mindlessly sitting behind a computer, doing whatever work I had to do, hoping that one day I would have enough money and that I could get my time back. But what our goal is inside of this, it's not about how much money you have. It's about how much income your assets deliver. Okay, now that's a pretty interesting thing, because for me, prior to really understanding this, I was defining the success of my financial plan based on my net worth. I remember when I had $100,000 in my 401k, I thought, man, I am cruising, I'm crushing it, things are going awesome. And then 2008 happened, and I realized, holy cow, I don't control anything that I'm doing. And worst case scenario, right now with COVID and all this stuff happening, if I went to my 401k and tried to take what was left over, I would only be able to support my family for about 3 months. Right. And I realized, man, net worth is a horrible indicator of how much time I own. And so it started to shift my focus and attention to investing for things that produced income. Right. And if I can understand how much income an asset would produce, and I could pair it up with my expenses, I had a game that I could understand. I had a game that I could measure, and I had a game that I could track and win. So what financial freedom is for me more than anything, it's about having options. Right? Financial freedom allowed me to walk away from the corporate rat race. It allows me, I'm literally working from my home right now. This is in my basement of my house, right? It gives me the ability to live where I want to live, to do what I want to do, to be part of my kids growing up instead of living on the other side of the country. It allows me to pursue my craziest dreams. I never, ever, ever thought in the beginning of my pursuit to financial freedom, I'd be on a webinar on a Thursday night with all of you fine people talking about financial freedom. But what I learned along the way is I really love inspiring and helping people own and control their time. And I believe freedom is our birthright. I believe we're born for a purpose. And my goal is to empower you with money to own and control your time. This was for Russell Brunson. This is him living a purpose-driven life up on stage. But here's what I want to ask you. Okay. Because what I'm going to share with you, like I said earlier, no one's going to care more about the success of your financial plan than you. So what you need to be clear on are a couple things. Number one, what is it that you want? Once you have a clear vision and understanding of what you want, and you can see a vision that no one else can see, why does that vision matter to you? Right. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with traditional finance. We have this fuzzy idea of retirement. It's all about one day. That one day never comes. And we've seen it. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. And people that I've worked with, they work, they trade their time, and one day never comes. So what is it that you want, and why does it matter? Get mentally and emotionally committed to that, because the only thing that's standing in the way of where you're at and where you want to be, it's not money. Money's just a tool. It's who must you become. And I believe that this is one of the most fundamental principles of what we do in Cashflow Tactics. That's why we put everything behind us as rise up. So number one, you need a goal. The goal of what we're talking about is financial freedom in 10 years or less. Number two, you need a system. Okay. So when we built Cashflow Tactics, we truly wanted to build it in a way to empower people with money. And it's kind of interesting, right? When you think about money, there's a lot of different courses and books and strategies around money, but they all center on different things, right? Some courses are about making money. Some courses are about taxes and keeping money. Some courses are about investing. But what I've found, unless you can put all of them together, what ultimately happens with a lot of people is they kind of go up and down, right? They make money, but they can't figure out how to keep it. Or all they do is focus on keeping money, but they don't live abundantly. They don't know how to invest it or turn it into cash flow. So you need a system to empower you across the table. So number one, if everything that we think we know about money is wrong, then what is it that we actually have to do? The first thing is financial freedom isn't about retirement, right? And this is one of those dirty little secrets. Trade the best days, months, and years of your life, hoping that one day it's going to work out. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to this dude's podcast. He's a pretty awesome guy. His name is Alex Sharfin, and he's for business owners and entrepreneurs. And he talks like his number one thing is keeping people in momentum. And I know in my life, whether it's my physical health and well-being or my financial plan or my spiritual life or whatever it is, when I'm in momentum, things are working. So that's the goal of this. It's not about retirement for one day. It's about empowering you with cash flow to own and control your time, to keep you in momentum. Okay. So the next thing is, and this is kind of funny, rate of return is pointless. Now, I'm not sure what each one of you do for work. I know when I put this presentation together, we work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And the interesting thing is, I work with people that they have a superpower, right? They have a superpower of learning how to create and exchange value. And at the end of the day, they can have an unlimited rate of return inside of their business or their side hustle in some cases. And so when they look outside of themselves to earn a rate of return, in many cases, it can be pointless. So here's this guy, Russell Brunson. This is a guy that kind of helped us take our business online. And he learned how to take information. And by the way, does everyone know Russell Brunson? Have you guys all heard of ClickFunnels before? All right, cool. I don't know if I need to give him any context or not. You should check him out if you haven't. He's a pretty cool guy. But man, he learned how to literally print money. He learned, I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but he learned how to create a business and turn that business into value, solve other people's problem. And then now he's able to take that value and exponentially make money across the board. So if that's the case, if you can create a business and really make money, isn't that your best investments? Let's look at this for just a minute, right? If I said I had a time machine, okay, and I'm going to give each one of you fine individuals an opportunity to travel back in time with me, who would want to go back to 1980 and invest in Apple? Right? That sounds pretty cool, right? I mean, I own a bunch of Apple stuff here in my house. That'd be pretty cool. So back in the day, if we went back and we invested $1,000 in Apple share prices, their IPO price was $22. So our total investment, if we bought 100 shares, our total investment would be $2,200. Okay. The close price, I think we did this in 2019. So in 2019, it closed at $200. I don't know if it's higher or lower today, but it closed at a $1.1 million. So our $2,200 investment at the end of 2019 would have turned into $1.1 million. Now that sounds awesome, right? But man, look at this. It took 38 years to do it. 38 years to do it. Now that's not bad, but man, 38 years. And again, this kind of goes back to the fundamental problem. We trade the majority of our time hoping for one day, and I don't have any control over Apple. I mean, I buy all their stuff, but I can't seem to affect their stock prices, right? And if we did it even more effective, we could go back to Amazon, back to 1997, invest the same $1,000, take $18, invest, or 100 shares, invest $1,800 and turn that $1,800 into $2.4 million. Again, not too bad, but now that only took 21 years. So again, 20 years to do it. And these rates of return, those are sick. They're awesome. But at the end of the day, do I want to wait 21 years or 38 years with my fingers crossed? What if Apple went down tomorrow? Will I ever own and control my time? So Cashflow Tactics, on the other hand, we run a webinar every week, and we're having a hard time with our Facebook ads. So a couple of weeks ago, we ran a webinar where we spent about $1,300 on our advertising. We were able to make a sell of $3,900 on a webinar, right? $1,300 into $3,900. Our return on ad spend was 42%, but we were able to do that in 1 week. If I did that for 7 weeks, what's my rate of return? Who cares, right? Who cares? And the reason I say that is, guys, your best investment is you. Your rate of return is meaningless when you can focus on your return on attention. If your best investment is you, then the 3 things you want to focus on are investing in your mindsets, right? Being able to have a mindset that sees a vision that no one else can see. Translate that mindset into a skill set, and then invest in your network. I cannot tell you how much value this has provided for me. In the beginning, I went to college, and then I thought I was done investing in myself. And then I landed in the corporate world. And before I knew it, I had lost, right? I was trading all my time for money. I was losing all my money in the stock market. But the second I went back to this foundation that I am an asset, and I invested in myself, that's when things started to change. I learned how to create value and exchange value in the world. Okay. So this is pretty awesome. Now, I bet each one of you are already doing this. You're on this webinar tonight. You're investing in your mindset, your skill sets, and your network. But now I have some bad news for you. You're your own worst enemy. Okay, so again, let's do a really quick exercise. Now, I'm going to go through this super quick, guys, and I apologize. But the exercise that we're going to do is, number 1, I want you to, as best as you can, try to determine how much money that you've made. Okay, from the beginning of time, my very first job way back in the day, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I had a Huffy bike, a Walkman. I would listen to Paul Abdul and I would throw papers, right? I had a paper route. From my paper route all the way to today, how much money have I made? What do you guys think? How much money have you made? When I did this the first time, I was about 5 years out of college and I had made about $1 million. And it blew me away. I realized, holy crap, I can make money, right? I can do this. But now the next thing is, man, how much money have I kept? How much money have you made and how much money have you kept? When I did this exercise, I had just lost, very little. I just lost all my money in the stock market. I had about, $28,000. I had made $1 million and I'd lost about 28,000, or excuse me, I had kept about 28,000. And that was over the course of almost 10 years, right? 10 years. And I realized if I kept going on this trajectory, how much time did I own? At that point, I owned about 3 months of my time. I realized I will never be free. I will never be free. So it's one thing to make money, but the next thing that you have to master is how to keep it. Would you agree with that? Okay, so let's dive into this really quick. And I'm not sure how much time I have, so you just tell me when it's time for me to shut my mouth. I will do that. In fact, I'll watch the comment here. Let's see, chat box. Okay, cool. What's up, Mike? All right, so if this is true, then what should we do? This is why we build Cashflow Tactics, right? We built Cashflow Tactics to empower you across the board. Production is number one. You are the asset. Go make money, create value, exchange value. The world is, it's desperately hungry and thirsty for people that create value, that solve problems. Then keep the money that you make. Then let's turn it into cash flow. So let's dive into protection really, really quick. Well, I guess this is production. So you guys have a really interesting superpower. Have you ever watched Harry Potter back in the day? You know, Harry Potter, he and all these wizards, they live in a world where they can use their magic wands, and everyone else are muggles, right? They don't know how to do anything magic, but you guys know how to take your superpowers and create. I'm going to skip this exercise. You guys are superpowers, mindset, skill sets, network. Then the next thing, inside of your business, invest in marketing, sales, processes, systems, and people, right? These are your best investments. If you can put $1, like I did in the beginning, like I showed you, if you can put $1 into ad spend and turn that dollar into $2 or $3 or $4, again, what's my rate of return? It's infinite, right? This is the best place to start. And that's what the investment world doesn't want you to know. The investment world doesn't want you to think that you're the investment. They want you to give your money to them and hope that they care more about your financial plan than you do. That will never happen. That violates a fundamental principle. We did this inside of our business. And again, with ClickFunnels, we were able to achieve awards because we learned how to do it, right? We learned how to create value and detach our time from money. So Steve Jobs here, there's just one more thing. I've been talking all about how amazing your business or your side hustle is, but now I've got some bad news for you. Your business is actually worthless. Sorry, I don't mean to be like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but guys, guess what? If you look at the Dow Jones is a representation of some of the most successful businesses in the history of our world. If we started with the Dow Jones, the companies that were originally on the Dow Jones all the way to today, do you know how many companies still are on the Dow Jones? Just one. The Dow Jones has turned over and over and over and over. The top 100 most successful companies in the entire, American economy can't stay successful. They can't stay in business over the long run. And so if that's true, like if our business is zero, then what do we have to do? So we just did this. Dow Jones, one original company remains. The S&P 500 in 95, the average tenure was 33 years. By 1990, it's 20 years. It's forecasted to shrink to 14 years. So most businesses, because the world is changing so fast, they're in and out of business. They're profitable and then they're not. So we have to learn how to make money, but then we have to learn how to protect what we make and keep it. So this is where I'm going to come in really, really quick and talk about this. If this is true, what should we do? Now, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that really makes you feel abundant in the long run. And I think a lot of us are feeling that right now, right? As COVID is raging on, we're seeing a lot of people, unemployment is through the roof, right? And people are realizing that they might not have enough savings to help last, through any changes in their lifestyle, whether it's, craziness, sickness, or it's, you want to retire, you want to be financially free. You've got to find a way to keep the money that you make. This is the Persian army. I won't use this example. I'll just go right into it. So here's the crazy part. Your business is kind of like this sassy, belligerent dude right back here. Have you guys ever felt that way? If you guys run a business, do you ever feel like your business is just like sucking the life out of you sometimes? Right? We're on a webinar tonight. At what time is it? Like it's 7 o'clock out here. I don't know where you guys might be on the East Coast. It's 9 o'clock, wherever you guys are at. Sometimes your business like sucks the life out of you. So you have to figure out how to create a business that you're in charge of, not that your business is in charge of you. And so this is one of the things that we teach on entrepreneurs. You need to be able to take empire cash. You created a business to serve other people. You created a business to create value. Your business only survives if you survive, which means if it's your business and if you're the asset, create a business that profits and that validates the work that you're putting in. So number one, you should pay yourself a comfortable salary out of your business. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I've talked to that they ride a roller coaster, right? They have some money and then they lose it, right? Or they have some money and then their business sucks it up because it requires payroll or new systems or whatever it is. You have to pay yourself a comfortable salary. With this, you want to make sure that you're not in scarcity, right? You want to make sure that you can keep the lights on. You're not worried about things. If you can't do that yet, man, it's time to rise up, figure out the mindsets, the skill sets, and the networks that you need to invest in to be able to start paying yourself a comfortable salary out of your business. Number two, you should absolutely 100% keep 3 to 6 months in reserve for your business as well as for yourself personally. If you have payroll, if you have overhead, if you have cost of goods, you should have 3 to 6 months of reserve as well as a personal reserve as well. Okay, then number three, this is the most important thing, distribute quarterly Empire Cash. Above your salary, you should take profit out of your business. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll always keep the money out of your business, but when you take money out of your business bank account and you take it as a distribution, as profit, A, it validates the work that you've put in. B, when you have to or want to reinvest it back in your business, you treat it like an investment. If you live out of your business bank account, what happens? The money's there and then the money's gone. Okay, so pay yourself, treat yourself as the CEO, because if you don't survive, your business doesn't survive. And if your business doesn't survive, the problems that only you can solve, they stop being solved. And then we start looking to governments and politicians and stock markets and all the crazy stuff to solve our problems for us, right? The solution is in each one of us. Okay, so I hear this all the time from entrepreneurs. It's too hard. And my business is too hard. I can't do it, right? I got all this stuff going on. Guys, guess what? You are here on a Thursday night. You can do hard things, right? And it requires you to have that vision of what you want, why it matters, because again, the only thing that's separating you from where you're at to where you want to be, it's you, right? It's you. So let's see how much time I've got until 8:15, 8:20. Ooh, I'm almost out of time. Okay. So who must I become? The greatest destroyer of wealth. We'll talk about this. It's taxes. I'll skip this little thing. But here's the best part. If the greatest destroyer of your wealth is taxes. So in this clip, Donald Trump, back in the day when he was, I hate politics, hate it, but it was amazing. The last time he was debating Hillary Clinton, he literally on live TV said, guess what? I don't pay any taxes, 0 taxes. How can the president of the United States, regardless of your political affiliation, say I don't pay any taxes? Right? Should he not be in jail? It's because, guys, guess what? The IRS, they use the tax code as a way to incentivize behavior. They want you on this webinar. They want you to go out and solve problems. They want you to own a business. They want you to employ people. And if you know how to do it right, the IRS is your biggest tool. You should never, ever, ever pay more than 20% of your business income in taxes, ever. In fact, every single year, minus Donald Trump's year, when the politicians release their tax records, guess how much Obama paid in taxes? Whoops, 17%. Guess how much Romney paid in taxes? 14%. I mean, if we go back to the politicians, guess how much Clinton paid in taxes? 19%. Right? I mean, these politicians are using the IRS tax code as a way to not defer taxes, as a way to not pay more taxes the more money they make. They're using the tax code to pay nothing. Once you know how to do this, then the whole game is how do you take the money out of your business, pay taxes one time and at the lowest tax rate possible, and then never pay taxes ever again. That's the entire focus of our strategy. Gosh, dang it, man. I'm sorry. I should have cut this presentation down a little bit. I didn't know how much time I had. So if these are the destroyers of wealth, right? IRS, you need to know how to use the IRS as the tax code as a way to incentivize behavior. You need to protect yourself from predators and creditors. Why put money back into the markets? We already did that example, right? If you don't control it, don't invest in it. And you need to protect your money from inflation. We use a tool and a strategy called the vault. I'm going to skip over all of this stuff because the last part of all of this is now taking the money that you've kept and turning it into cash flow. This is the real focus of what we do. Okay, yeah, you know what? So here's the question. If you're in a business, you get to ask yourself one of two questions. Do you want more money? If you want more money, where should you go? Back to your business, back to mindsets, skill sets, and network. Investing in areas that give you the ability to create and exchange value. But if you ever get to the point that you ask yourself, I want more time, now you build an exit strategy. You should be building the exit strategy all along. But when you want more time, you don't go back to your business because your business is kind of like that whiny, whatever teenager that I had on the clip up there, right? Your business is going to require a lot of time out of you. I don't care. I mean, I've seen so many businesses. I don't know any of them that live a laptop lifestyle. I don't. There might be some of them out there, but I read The 4 Hour Work Week. It's an amazing book. I've never figured out how to do 4 hour work week inside of my business ever. I've tried really hard. I can't do it, but I can invest outside of my business in a way that will give me my time back. And guess what? It's through investing. Well, okay, here's the entrepreneurial condition. And I'm going to close it up here in just a minute. So the entrepreneurial condition is just hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind. And I love Gary Vee. I'm sure many of you do, but I don't want to hustle and grind until the end of time. I don't want to hustle and grind inside of a business and not have anything to show for it. So I have to build an exit strategy. I talk to too many entrepreneurs and they feel like this is their business. They're being hunted by their business. And whether they started off because they love their business or not, if you don't figure out how to build an exit strategy, your business will destroy you. Your business will destroy you. But if you do have an exit strategy, and you know you have a separate stream of income outside of your business, then you get to choose, right? You get to choose to be in your business because you want to be there, not because you have to be there. So the way we do that, you can use a vault. Like if you can make a whole bunch of money like Russell Brunson, if you can drop $5 million inside of your vault will generate $250,000 of tax-free income for life, right? It's a tax strategy that the wealthy use. If you can't drop that much money, maybe you can only, earn and save $500,000 over the next couple of years. If you can combine that with rental real estate, this is about 18 properties, you'll be able to generate $250,000 of income for life. So our entire strategy is about helping you make money, keep money, and turn it into cash flow. That is everything that we do. And I've got some more slides here.
Ryan?
Yes, ma'am.
They're cool with you going to 8:30. So hey, go have at it if you want to.
I'm talking so fast, guys. Sorry. I should have looked at how much time I had. So
you can go all the way into 8:30. They're all saying yes. So keep going to 8:30.
Okay, cool. Okay, cash flow is freedom. Cash flow is freedom. That's all it is. Money buys you choices, right? It just buys your time back. And if that's what you want, that's what we're focused on, is buying time back. It's all about working backwards. So, number one, you need a goal. Number two, you need a system, right? You need a system, and your system is your business. It's your ability to make money. And then number three, you need to adopt a new identity. I believe that so much of, there's a book I read. Has anyone ever read the book Atomic Habits? You guys should pick that book up. It's amazing. So I'm going to give you just an example out of Atomic Habits that it totally blew my mind. So he uses an example of a smoker. Okay. And what he talks about is a goal, right? So yep, we want a goal. So he uses the example of a smoker inside of this book to say, look, if you have a goal to not be a smoker, right? If that's your goal, then guess what? The chances of you being successful with that are about 10%. 10%. How many people have set goals? They get all excited, right? They go to the gym, they run, they eat healthy, whatever it is. And then a week later, a month later, the goal is done, right? It's dead. I mean, that's happened, all of us, because we haven't changed something underneath that. So the next thing is you need a system, right? If you have a system, and going back to this smoking analogy, right? If you have a system, I have a goal, I want to quit smoking. My system is I'm going to go to the meetings, I'm going to wear the patch, I'm going to have an accountability partner, whatever it is. Guess what? All it really does is it adds another 10%. The likelihood of you achieving the outcome that you want now is it's higher, 20%. Right? But man, that's still a lot. That's a 80% that we're missing. And the third aspect of this is something that none of us ever think about. You need an identity. If I have an identity, if someone comes up to me and says, okay, look, Ryan, do you want to smoke? If I respond back and say, hey, no, thanks, I'm trying to quit. I haven't changed my identity. I still view myself as a smoker. Internally, I'm a smoker trying to quit. However, if I work on my identity first and someone says, hey, Ryan, do you want a cigarette? And I say, no, thanks, I'm not a smoker. Guess what? My identity, internally, I've shifted who I believe I am. And if I shift who I believe I am, then the system and the goal, like clockwork, right? So if this is what you want, going back to those three questions that we talked about in the beginning, if you want to be financially free in 10 years or less, why does it matter? What do you want? Why does it matter? And who must you become? So will you accept your freedom? Accept your freedom, take full responsibility of your life and your results. Are you interested or are you committed? I see a lot of people interested in the idea of financial freedom, but very few people committed to it. Take imperfect action. For me, gosh, when I first started investing in real estate and trying to figure out the tax code, man, I made so many mistakes. But guess what? Each one of those mistakes was a learning opportunity. And the next time I picked myself up and dusted myself off, I went into the next investment a little bit better, right? I compounded the lessons and the learning forward. Rather than back in the day with the stock market, when I lost money, I had no idea why I lost it. I didn't know how to get it back. I didn't know how to keep it, right? I had to have a way to take control and take imperfect action, measure and repeat. The only thing standing in the way of where you're at and what you want is you. So I'm going to skip all of this. I'm going to skip all of this. Should I skip this? I don't know. What time is it? I want to answer some questions. So I'll go through this really, really quick. Here's again one of the reasons that I believe so many of us are trapped. We call it the consumer condition, right? Who's ever seen Black Friday, right? Where you go wait in lines and you buy stuff at Walmart for, I don't know, discounts or whatever it is. Or like there's a $5 discount at a restaurant and like the lines out the window. So guys, at the end of the day, if we want to own and control our time, we have to start valuing our time, right? And too many people live by the consumer condition. The second they have a dollar, it's gone, right? I lived by this for a long time. Every time I earned a raise inside of my job, guess what? Oh, I can go buy a new car. Oh, I can go buy a new house. Oh, I can go buy this. I can go buy that. But at the end of the day, I was searching for happiness in things. I don't believe you'll ever find happiness in things. Now, things might add to the happiness that you have in a moment, but things do not create happiness. But yet our entire world is trying to train us and educate us that buying things, being a consumer, is our way to find happiness. A consumer, in my opinion, is someone who consumes more value than they create. And if we just look at how our system is set up, right? Our system reports our income, right? If you look at the government, how they talk about the Americans' income, how do they talk about it? It's disposable income. We should take all of our income and dispose of it, right? Go buy crap. Consumer demand. That, the government reports from the top down that what is the consumer demand? Where are people trying to buy their money? They report the health of the economy based on the consumer price index. They talk about our confidence based on us being consumers. And they have a whole division of the government set up to help us be better consumers, right? So if this is the mindset that you have, you will never be free. However, if you start to think like a producer, things start to change, right? And I want to just give you an example. If you have a dollar, right? So let's say you have a dollar and I, Ryan, have a bottle of water, right? Who do we have on here? Armand. Armand, let's say you come to me and you're really, really thirsty, right? And you want this bottle of water. You have a dollar, I have water. If I'm not thirsty and I prefer to have the dollar more than the water, if we exchange, right, freely, you give me the dollar, I give you the water, who wins in that? Who wins in that transaction? We both win, right? You get what you want. You wanted the water. I get what I want. I wanted the dollar, right? Exchange creates wealth. So when we learn how to take what we have, this is water, but what if your unique ability is to coach people athletically? Or what if your unique ability is to, I'm a really short guy, and every time I buy pants, I have to go to my neighbor and she hems the bottom. She cuts the bottom. If I don't do that, I remember back in the 80s and 90s, I think it was cool. I just would cut them off with scissors and I'd have the frayed jeans. I don't think that's cool anymore. So I have to go get them hemmed. So she has a talent. She has a skill set that I'm more than willing to pay for. So whatever that is, find out what your talent and skill set is and be a producer. Find a way to solve the world's problem. Dollars follow value. When we exchange, right, we both walk away wealthier, and profit. When I make money, it's a tool of validation. I created value. I solved someone's problem, and the profit, the money that I have in my bank account, is validation that I'm doing the right thing. Okay. So with that in mind, guys, these are all the things. Okay. The last part of all of this is a game plan. And the game plan, this is really what we do with people. And I'm going to give you guys an opportunity, if you want to, for the Inspired Bosses group here, to go through a free challenge. If you guys want to take all of this stuff that I've mentioned with you and prove it out, the 97% is dangerous, misleading, or wrong. If you want to see what the 3% is and how it works for you, I'm going to give you an opportunity to go through a challenge. And the challenge is a 5-day challenge to empower you with money, to help you truly understand how to be a producer, how to make money, how to keep it, how to finally use the tax code. I mean, who gets nervous every time the tax season comes around? Guess what? On my team, I've got a guy. Have you ever seen the movie The Matrix? I mean, the dude, Neo, can see the world in numbers. There are people, I don't understand these people, but there are people that literally love the tax code. They read it for fun and they see the world in numbers. And I've got a dude on my team, that's what he does for fun. I ask him what he did over the weekend, and he's like, I read the tax code. And I tell him what I did. I went biking. I'm glad you read the tax code. Help me save money. But guys, at the end of the day, when you know how to make money, you know how to keep money, you know how to turn it into cash flow, the entire game changes. You can choose what you do with your time. You can make decisions based on your highest and most unique use of your time, your skills, your talents, and your abilities. We put all of this together in a game plan. And what you need in a game plan, let's see, do I have anything else on here? No, that's all I got. I thought I was going to give you the 3 stages to a game plan. Yeah, that's good. I'll just stop it right there. Guys, any questions for me? I know I went through that really fast and I'm way over time. So thank you for giving me an opportunity here.
Oh, good, Ryan. You lit us up. So amazing. So if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna change the view and we can just have open questions. You can take your mic off of mute and let's chat it up with Mike. Mike is still here for about 8 more minutes as well as chat it up with Ryan, you all. I know there has to be some questions. Don't be scared.
I like Mike. Mike's not. I have to hem my pants too, man. From the very, very beginning, I've had to hem my pants. So Mike had to hem his pants too. So I'm glad we're got two people here, two short guys.
Ryan, I have a question.
What's
This
up?
is Lateri. Can you go over the personalized game plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So the game plan, it's really a way to, number one, reorient your paradigm around money. That's really what it is. So when we go through the 97%, has anyone in this group ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad before? I remember when I read that the first time, it kind of hurt my feelings because the very first thing he says in there is savers or losers. And I was brought up to be a really good saver, right? I've always saved money. That hasn't been a problem for me. But when you understand the math behind it, you realize it's mathematically impossible for any one of us, right, to save our way to financial freedom, especially when we put the time frame of 10 years or less. So the game plan, number one, helps you understand what's not working, right? If you can take 97% and say, hey, it's not going to work for me, it might make me better, but it's not going to get me free in 10 years or less. The sooner you can let go of it, the quicker you can focus on the 3% that's not doing what everyone else does better. It's doing the exact opposite. I mean, take your finance hat off for a minute and put your life hat on. Any area of your life that you've achieved success in, right? Your career, your business, your health and well-being, your parenting, whatever it is, it's required focus. But yet inside of our financial plan, what are we told to do? Diversify. Take our money and spread it out all over God's green earth, hoping that one of the accounts is going to work out. So the 5-day challenge, more than anything, is about empowering you with money to understand what doesn't work and allowing you to focus on the few things that do.
I have a question.
There's a question. Oh, go ahead, Miwa.
Sorry, I jumped in late, and I like what you guys are doing, and thank you, Mike, for inviting me. And what do you say to somebody who grew up in an environment where you're not supposed to talk about money because it's not, it's not
It's taboo.
Yeah. I didn't grow up that way, but I know that's a question. I get that a lot. I don't know how to answer that. How do you
I believe so. I went through a training. I don't know,
talk about
several
money?
years. Oh yeah, Miwa. So for me, I mean, here's my answer. Maybe Mike has one as well. Like you can separate your personal life from your financial life. You really can, right? I don't need to talk, my bank accounts and my finances with my friends that I go biking with. But if I want to be financially free, in the beginning, when I was trying to do it by myself, I would read a book like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'll go out and I take action. I take one step forward, and then I kept bumping up against my own limiting beliefs and my own lack of understanding. So I'd go back and read another book or listen to another podcast, and I'd take one step forward and 2 steps back, 1 step forward and 5 steps back. But here's the interesting thing. When I finally started to invest in a circle of influence and network, right, I started looking at people and saying, holy crap, how did you do that? If you can achieve financial freedom, I can. If you can achieve I know I'm kind of smart, but not nearly. If you can do it, I can do it. And I started to gain a sense of confidence because of the people I associated with. So what I would say is if your network doesn't support your goals, it might be time to find a new network specifically around money. Maybe not around all areas of your life, but specifically around money.
Can you say you were committed?
Oof, yes. Like when
highway, you were committed to doing that. You had a commitment regardless of whether, did you have days you wanted to quit?
Always. I think every morning I wake up sometimes and I have to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. But it goes back to the beginning. When you have a vision that inspires you, you will push through whatever's required, whatever struggles and obstacles. And it's almost a badge of honor. It's almost a trophy, right? Because you don't appreciate what you don't earn.
Thank you.
That's good. We have a question in the chat as well. The question is, we are taught many subjects during our K through 12, 12th grade lives. Why aren't the fundamentals of money and different strategies taught very much? It wasn't directed to any person, so both of you can probably take a shot at it if you want. My
answer is the consumer condition. I believe we're in a system that whether it's some puppet master at the top trying to control it or not. Like, we're in a system that you cannot win. You cannot win if you follow conventional wisdom. Why aren't we taught that stuff in K through 12? You're taught to be a cog in a wheel. You're taught to be, to trade the best days and years of your life, hoping that it works out. And when it doesn't, who do you rely on? You go back to the government and say, hey man, what about some Social Security? And what about, bailouts and all this stuff, right? I mean, we're not taught to be producers. We're not taught to succeed in the system that we're in. So that's why we're so definitive about what we say. Because I believe you have to have that